Hello, and thank you for joining the POCUS Academy for today's POCUS Bites webinar. I'm Maddie, and I'll be your facilitator today. We are now starting, so all lines have been muted. Please use the chat box for any questions or comments that you have throughout the webinar. I would like to invite you to our next webinar in the POCUS Bites series on April 4th. We'll be discussing point-of-care ultrasound in emergency medical services with Peter Bonadonna. He's a veteran paramedic, having 42 years in metropolitan and rural EMS experience. He's also a POCUS educator and advocate. Register today on our POCUS.org website to save your spot. Today, our speaker is Jasmine Rockett. Jasmine is part of the team that was instrumental in developing the Point-of-Care Ultrasound Certification Academy and continues today as the global manager of the Academy. She has a background in higher education and was able to bring that unique perspective into the design of the program. Jasmine, thank you for being with us today.
And thank you all for joining us today for today's informational webinar on the POCUS Certification Academy. The presentation is designed to give you an overview of the program, address some of the common questions we receive, and answer any specific questions that you may have. The POCUS Certification Academy is a global community of POCUS users that aim to uphold the highest standards in point-of-care ultrasound to ensure patient safety. We offer an online certificate and certification program to validate point-of-care ultrasound proficiency, in addition to other resources to help you on your POCUS journey. The POCUS Certification Academy was developed to address the rapid adoption of handheld ultrasound devices without a way to validate a user's skills, knowledge, or abilities. We offer module-focused evaluations of ultrasound use to meet the needs of healthcare providers who use ultrasound in a focused setting and for whom ultrasound is one of many tools they use to diagnose or triage patients. Our program is designed to be cost-effective, easily accessible in order to fit the busy lives of healthcare professionals and to validate the minimum standards in point-of-care ultrasound. The profile of our users are diverse in years of practice, specialty area, and provider level. Whether you are still in training or graduated medical school 25 years ago, the POCUS Certification Academy has something for you. In building your skill set with our POCUS fundamentals, testing your proficiency with our certificates or certifications, or engaging in our community with our podcasts, social media, or other volunteering opportunities. The field of POCUS is evolving and the POCUS Certification Academy is growing with it. The POCUS Certification Academy gives you an opportunity to test your knowledge, skills, and abilities in a safe, simulated environment. It offers healthcare providers whose scope of practice allows them to use point-of-care ultrasound to make a diagnosis or enhance their clinical and therapeutic decision-making, a tool to show their competence to patients, peers, or others in the healthcare community. The program currently consists of 10 clinical certificates, 1 specialty certification, and the POCUS fundamentals. The plan is to roll out additional specialty certificates this year as well. Each clinical certificate has experiential requirements and prerequisites which vary depending on the certificate you are pursuing. Example being, for abdominal trauma, you are required to have performed 15 AAA cases. For AAA, you are required to perform 15 AAA cases within the last 2 years. Or for hepatobiliary spleen, you are required to have completed 25 cases within the last 2 years. The experiential requirements include the current use of point-of-care ultrasound, as well as participating in the acquisition and interpretation of a specified number of cases. In addition, the number of clinical cases that make up each assessment vary. The POCUS Fundamental Certificate does not have any prerequisites. However, we recommend that you have a background in healthcare. These prerequisites and experiential requirements are designed to ensure that you have the adequate skill set and experience needed to assess the common pathologies that you may encounter when using a specified application of point-of-care ultrasound. The Academy offers a structure in which you can build upon your skills, knowledge, and abilities. Many POCUS users did not obtain their learning through traditional education. The Academy offers a channel in which users can build upon their foundational ultrasound knowledge with the physics and instrumentation with the POCUS Fundamental Certificate, which includes educational modules as well as an assessment to test your knowledge. The Academy is an online, on-demand program accessible 24/7. We developed and was developed with the help of subject matter experts around the world. Each assessment went through a rigorous development process of template development, case authoring and reviewing by a panel of subject matter experts, and the program was tested in conjunction with world-renowned POCUS training organizations. Our program is supported by over 100 subject matter experts from more than 15 countries. The POCUS Certification Academy has an advisory group of subject matter experts who are part of the POCUS Assessment Committee and help build the highest standards of practice in point-of-care ultrasound. Each assessment component is designed to verify pertinent POCUS competencies and industry-defined standards. The Fundamental Certificate provides an educational review of ultrasound instrumentation, principles of ultrasound, ultrasound artifacts, and safety and bioeffects across 8 educational modules. These modules are interactive and have knowledge checks along the way. When you're taking the assessment, when you're taking the educational modules, you can choose to test out of the review modules by doing the knowledge checks, or refresh yourself on the knowledge by going through the educational review. Once you've completed all the knowledge checks, you will be presented with a summative assessment, which will test your knowledge. Once you've successfully completed the summative assessment, you will earn your Point-of-Care Ultrasound Fundamental Certificate. Once the POCUS Fundamental Certificate or its equivalency, which is the current APCA or ARDMS credential, is obtained, you have the option to build upon your accomplishments by earning a clinical certificate or specialty certification. To earn a clinical certificate or specialty certification, you must complete 2 assessment components: the peer evaluation and the clinical case assessment. The clinical case assessments offer a unique opportunity for you to test your skills in a simulated online clinical encounter. These simulated cases require you to draw upon the skills you use every day. This clinical cases assess your ability to identify artifacts, sonographic finds, diagnostic findings, anatomical features, and synthesize the clinical information in ultrasound media to make a diagnosis. Throughout the clinical case assessments, you have the opportunity to refer to the patient's chart and pull relevant clinical information in regards to the patient that will help with answering specific questions and ultimately helping you make your final diagnosis for the patient. Finally, the practical assessment, which is a peer evaluation, provides you a channel in which you can demonstrate your ability to obtain diagnostic quality point-of-care ultrasound images. An anonymized evaluation is sent to 2 clinical peer evaluators of your choosing. These evaluators will attest to your abilities to obtain diagnostic quality images, to your understanding of depth and gain, proper use of transducers, and ability to interpret POCUS images, and much more. The assessment results are provided immediately and can be checked anytime on your certificate plan. Earning a POCUS Certification Academy certificate or certification gives you documented proficiency of your POCUS skill set that is supported by a nonprofit organization with over 40 years of experience using scientific methods to develop and validate proficiency in ultrasound standards and practice. Our exams help establish high-quality standards across the ultrasound industry. Once you successfully complete your certificate, you will receive an electronic printable certificate as well as a digital badge that can be used to share your accomplishments on various social media channels. We have streamlined the application process for the Academy, making it quick and easy. Once you are ready to start your POCUS Certification Academy journey, you will log on to the My POCUS portal by selecting the Apply button on any of the POCUS Academy web pages. If it's your first time applying, you'll be directed to a short demographic questionnaire asking you questions about your level of practice, specialty area, and asking you to create a username and password. The other unique step in the application process is you can apply or you can log in using your social media accounts as well, like Facebook or LinkedIn. Once you've completed the short questionnaire, you will select the green Apply for Examination button. This will direct you to the pages where you can select the POCUS certificate or certification you wish to pursue, noting that the POCUS Fundamentals is the prerequisite and must be completed before any other clinical certificate and certification can be started. Once the certificate you're interested in pursuing is selected, you'll complete step 1 through 4 of the application process. These steps include attesting that you've met the prerequisite and experiential requirements, providing the names and emails of your peer evaluators. If you don't have the names at the time of your application, you can go in later and add those names and email addresses at a later time. And finally, you'll make your payment. Once the application steps are completed, you will have access to your assessment and be able to start immediately if you choose. You can choose to complete your assessment in one sitting, or you can come and complete various components and start and stop as you choose. We believe that learning POCUS is a lifelong journey which requires ongoing practice and learning. Our assessments are built just to be one component of your POCUS journey. In addition to our certificates and certifications, the POCUS Certification Academy offers a community of POCUS resources for the benefits of helping professionals like you who are working jointly with us to improve healthcare globally through the use of POCUS. These resources include blogs and podcasts, giving you insight and perspective on your fellow POCUS user's story, POCUS tips for quick reference and reminders on common POCUS applications, volunteering opportunities for you to have input on the future of POCUS, and so much more. Earning your certificate gains you firsthand access to new and existing POCUS resources. The POCUS Certification Academy is an online, on-demand program. Should you need to contact us, you can email us directly at pocus@apta.org or call our customer support line. Thank you for taking the opportunity to explore the POCUS Certification Academy with us. I am happy to answer any specific questions you may have.
Thank you, Jasmine. We really appreciate you being here today. We do have a couple of questions that have come in through our chat, and if anyone else has any additional questions, please feel free to type those questions in and I'll be sure to ask them or get to them as soon as we can. But Jasmine, the first question that came in is, are students eligible for the program? And are there any different requirements for students to be able to do a certificate?
Thanks for that question, Maddie. Yes, students are eligible for the program. The first step in the program is the Point-of-Care Ultrasound Fundamentals, and that is open to anyone. There are no prerequisites for the fundamentals. Depending on the nature of the program that the students are enrolled in, some programs that may be a bit more progressive do have some of the hands-on elements where they're able to obtain the number of scans required to earn the clinical certificates. So it's really going to be on a student by student basis, determining when they'll be able to progress onto the clinical certificates, but they are welcome anytime to take that first step in earning the POCUS fundamentals.
Wonderful, thank you. And I think that that kind of leads into the next question, which was, are non-physicians eligible?
Yes, great question. Just to have a little bit of background information, the POCUS Certification Academy originally launched in May of 2017, and it was originally only to physicians. However, as we continue to improve and evolve the academy, we're listening to the market, and we found that point of care ultrasound is not something that's exclusively used by physicians. It's used by all healthcare professionals. So August of last year, we extended the eligibility and opened the POCUS Certification Academy to non-physicians as well. So to answer the question, yes, the POCUS Certification Academy is open to all healthcare providers who use point-of-care ultrasound.
Great, thanks. The next question that came in is, do you or will you be offering CME credits for passing the exams?
That is something that we've had some discussion on. There's no definitive decisions right now, but that is a great idea and a great question, and that's something we'll definitely take to the rest of the team and explore further.
Awesome, thanks. We have a couple other questions that have come in. Um, do you have specialty certification programs other than the emergency certification?
At this time, we just have the emergency medicine certification, but we are working on rolling out some additional certifications this year. The plan is probably in the next couple of months, we'll be rolling out a POCUS generalist certification, and then we'll have some more specialty specific certifications. We're not 100% sure about which those will be, but we're thinking about possibly like a hospitalist, a critical care. So we are looking into some additional specialty certifications coming out this year.
Great. Um, if someone has an opinion or thoughts on what type of certifications we should build out, would you like them to use that contact email address that you've provided earlier?
Yes, that would be great. And any feedback would be greatly appreciated. As I said, the program is evolving and we're just really trying to listen to what the POCUS community wants. And so any feedback that you can provide would be greatly appreciated.
Wonderful. We have two other questions. Well, we have a couple other questions, but two of these questions look like they kind of go together. So I'm going to lump them together. It's talking about the images for the practical assessment portion. One person asked, how do I submit the images? And a second person asked, how do I find someone to review my images? And so I feel like those two kind of go together. So I'm going to give both of those to you now.
Okay, thank you. That's a great question. And that is a common question that we get regarding the peer evaluation. At this point, images do not need to be submitted to the academy in order to complete the peer evaluation component. When you apply for your clinical certificates, part of the application process is providing the names and email addresses of your peer evaluators. Your peer evaluators will be the ones who sign off and attest to your abilities to obtain point of care ultrasound, your understanding of depth gain, that type of thing. Usually you'll want to pick somebody who's familiar with your abilities to perform point of care ultrasound, somebody that you work with regularly. It may be a peer, it may be a coworker, a manager, maybe another clinician that you interact with who can attest to those abilities. They may have to come and watch you scan so that they can sign off on your peer evaluation, but you don't submit the images to the academy. The person that you identify as your peer evaluators will sign off on your ability to obtain those images, and they can do it based on their experience working with you and previous scans that they've seen you do in the past, or you can set up a time where they can watch you scan and they can sign off based on watching you do a scan in real time.
Thanks, Jasmine. Someone asked, what happens if I fail?
So our policy states, so I'll start with the fundamentals. The fundamentals, you have the opportunity to reapply for that up to 3 times. So if you fail once, you can apply for it again and take it again. You fail the second time, you have to wait 30 days, and then you can take it a third time. That's for the fundamentals. For the clinical assessments, which is part of the clinical certificates and specialty certification, you can take it one time. If you fail, you do have to wait 30 days before you can take it again. You fail a second time, and then you have to wait, 6 months before you can apply to take it again. The peer evaluation, if you fail, you can apply and take it again. There is a 30-day waiting period for that as well.
Thank you. Last question that I currently have. So if anyone has any additional questions, please do send them in the chat box now. But the last question that I have currently is, can my results be directly sent to my employer?
Thanks. That's a good question. So for the Academy, we offer pass-fail results. So we don't give the specific score, but we'll let you know, and the assessment results are provided immediately. So as you're moving through your journey, you complete your fundamentals, you'll know immediately if you've passed or failed. You start your clinical assessment, you'll know immediately if you've passed or failed your clinical case assessment, and then your peer evaluation, you'll know if you've passed or failed that component. And then once you've earned your certificate, that information is provided to you immediately, and you can always check that information on your certificate plan. That information is also emailed to you. In regards to providing that information to your employer, we would not email your employer directly, but we have a feature on the POCUS Certification Academy website where someone can verify your certificate or certification via your digital badge. And so they can put in your first or last name or the email address that you use to apply, and they can go in and verify that you have successfully earned any of the clinical certificates or certifications.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Jasmine. That was the last question that I have for you. So thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate your time today. For those of you that were listening, a recording of this webinar will be made available on the POCUS.org website. You'll receive a follow-up email in 2 days letting you know that that recording is available. For more POCUS talks, please check out our Focus on POCUS podcast, our POCUS blog posts, and of course, follow us on social media where we post regular POCUS clinical challenges. Thank you all so much for attending our webinar today, and we look forward to having you join us for our next webinar in April.